I came home from work, just like any other Tuesday. I tossed my keys on the counter, the familiar clank echoing in the sudden silence of the house. Usually my husband Mark would be home by now, maybe watching TV or tinkering in the garage. And usually our golden retriever, Buster, would be a whirlwind of fur and happy barks at the door. But today there was nothing. Just an unsettling quiet. "Mark?" I called out, no answer. "Buster, boy, where are you?" Still nothing. A knot of unease started to form in my stomach. I walked through the living room. Everything looked normal. The kitchen was clean. I checked the garage. Mark's car was gone. Okay, maybe he ran to the store. That would explain it. But where was Buster? I found him upstairs in our bedroom. He was lying by the side of the bed, not on his usual comfy dog bed, but on the floor, his head on his paws. He looked up at me when I entered, his tail giving a weak, hesitant thump-thump against the hardwood. He didn't get up. He just watched me with these big, sad, knowing eyes. It wasn't his usual, I'm tired look. This was different. This was heavy. I knelt beside him, stroking his soft fur. "What's wrong, buddy? Where's Dad?" He just whined, a low, mournful sound that vibrated through my hand. I noticed the bedroom door was slightly ajar, which was odd. We always kept it closed to keep Buster from napping on our pillows. I stood up and looked around the room. Mark's side of the closet was open. At first glance, nothing seemed out of place, but then I saw it. The small duffel bag he used for weekend trips was gone. His favorite hoodie, the one he always wore, wasn't on its usual hook. My heart started to beat a little faster. I tried calling his phone. It went straight to voicemail. "Hey, it's Mark. Leave a message." I tried again. Voicemail. I sent a text. "Hey, where are you?" Getting worried. No reply. The little check marks on my message stayed stubbornly gray. He wasn't even receiving them. I went back downstairs, Buster following me slowly, his claws clicking softly on the floor. I made myself a cup of tea, my hands shaking slightly. It's fine, I told myself. There's a perfectly logical explanation. His phone died. He had a last-minute work thing. He got a flat tire. My mind raced, trying to grasp onto any plausible reason that wasn't the terrifying one looming in the back of my mind. Hours passed. The sun went down, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple that I usually loved, but tonight they just seemed gloomy. I turned on every light in the house, trying to chase away the growing shadows and the even bigger sense of dread. Buster never left my side. He rested his head on my lap as I sat on the couch, staring at the blank TV screen. He seemed to be guarding me, or maybe comforting me. It felt like he knew something I didn't. Every time a car drove by, his head would pop up, ears perked, only to droop again when it passed our house. That night, I barely slept. I left Mark's side of the bed empty, a cold, vacant space beside me. Buster, for the first time ever, jumped up and curled into that empty spot, pressing his warm body against my back as if to fill the void. The next morning, the reality hit me like a physical blow. He wasn't here. This wasn't a bad dream. I called his work. They said he'd called in sick yesterday. My blood ran cold. He hadn't been sick. I called his best friend, Dave. "Hey, have you heard from Mark?" There was a pause on the other end. No, not since last weekend," Dave said, a little too quickly. I could hear the lie in his voice. I spent the day in a fog, calling hospitals, filing a missing persons report, my voice cracking as I explained the situation to a tired-sounding police officer. They were sympathetic but non-committal. "Adults have the right to disappear, ma'am." Disappear? Mark wouldn't just disappear. We were happy, weren't we? That evening, I was sitting on the floor, numbly scrolling through old photos of us on my phone, smiling on vacation, goofy selfies, our wedding day. Buster came over and nudged my hand with his nose, insistent. He then walked over to the hallway closet and started scratching at the door, whining. "What is it, boy?" I asked, my voice hoarse. I opened the closet. It was just coats and shoes and a vacuum cleaner. But Buster kept nudging a specific spot right behind a row of winter boots. I knelt down and pushed the boots aside. Tucked away in the corner was a small, unassuming shoebox. It wasn't one of mine. My hands trembled as I lifted the lid. Inside it wasn't shoes. It was full of papers. Bank statements from an account I didn't recognize. Credit card bills addressed to Mark at a P.O. box, and then I saw the letters. They were from a woman. Pages and pages of them talking about their plans, their future, a new life they were going to start together in another city. The last letter was dated 2 days ago, It said, "I can't wait. See you on Tuesday." Tuesday, the day he vanished. The pieces clicked into place with a sickening finality. The packed bag. The sick day at work. The phone turned off. His best friend's lie. He hadn't disappeared. He had left. He had planned it all. I sank to the floor, the letters slipping from my fingers. All this time, he had been living a double life right under my nose, and I had no idea. The betrayal was a physical pain, sharp and suffocating. I started to sob deep, gut-wrenching sobs. Buster, who had been watching me intently, came and licked the tears from my face. He rested his heavy head on my shoulder. And in that moment, looking into his soulful eyes, I realized something. Buster had seen it. He must have seen Mark packing his bag. He must have sensed the tension, the finality of that goodbye. That's why he was so sad. That's why he was so quiet. He wasn't just missing his dad. He was grieving with me. He was the only one in this whole house who knew the truth from the very beginning. He hadn't been able to tell me with words, but he had tried to show me in his own way, staying by my side, leading me to the closet. He was my silent witness, my furry confidant who saw everything. As I hugged him tightly, his steady presence was the only thing keeping me from completely falling apart. My husband was gone, but my dog, my loyal, wonderful dog, was right here. And together, we were going to figure out how to get through this. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever found comfort in a pet during a tough time, you know what I mean. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.